guilty of crime.
Hello, everybody. What's up? I'm Jay with Guilty of Crime, and we're back. Happy almost Friday. Come on in, guys. Do me a favor, hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't, get a membership if you can. Tomorrow's Friday the 13th. That's one of my favorite days. Hence, horror. Love horror. Love all of it. The art of it. Friday the 13th. We're trying to do something special for you all. So I hope we can get some members only chat going, get some MAB up here. Now, I know you guys are probably still following the Nancy Guthrie case, and rightfully so. Little bits and pieces keep coming out, and it's teasing us. But there are other people who need justice. There's children that can't speak and will never speak because of people like this. All right. We need justice for baby boy Snelling. And I'm not going to start yet. I'm going to say hi to everybody, but I do want you to know Laken Snelling is charged finally in the newborn's death. I'm going to read the indictment to you. This cheerleader, ex-beauty queen, is facing 20 years in prison. And I apologize. I know people probably are upset already because this B got out. She posted bond, but don't worry. I'm going to tell you the entire story. And you know what? If Laken's watching this, gets a hold of it, anyone that's in her family, you should be scared, Laken. You can't just have a baby and then throw it in the trash and walk away like she is. She's already doing that, guys. She has been out. She has been out on bond, just living the life, right? So we're going to get into the whole story today. If you guys know nothing about this case, it's even better. If you do, it's better than that, because not only that, I can't find anywhere who the baby's daddy is, but now we know. Not only do we know who the baby's daddy is, but we know all the charges. We see her in court, and boy, is orange her color, my friends. Good to see you. I'm so glad, guys. She's charged with the official charge, but she is charged with manslaughter. Okay, so this beauty queen / cheerleader is in bigger trouble. Now, after the medical examiner determined that her newborn baby was found dead in the closet due to asphyxiation. Okay, this piece of garbage monster, this needs to stop. And I do understand that it's getting political. We've got right side, left side, people saying, hey, if you would allow abortions, then they can have an abortion and not keep doing this. And the other side says no abortions unless. So it's a bigger topic than I even thought as I was digging through all this. Deborah, good to see ya. Tanya, how you doing? Yeah, people like her upset me too, but we're gonna go through this and see how pretty this little lady looks in orange. And I assure you, it is not her color, and she's going to be stuck with that for quite some time. So I am happy to say that, but we need justice. We need justice for baby Snelling, because she just threw him away like trash, and then she lied about it. All right, it made my day too. Trust me, I've been wanting to do an update. Now, listen, guys, jail records show that Laken she was booked. She was just booked in Fayette County Detention Center on March 12th, which is today. But I went back to finish researching, and lo and behold, she was released after her father posted a $10,000 bond. Now you know $10,000 isn't the deal. You pay 10%, so he probably just paid the 1,000, and they walked away. She's been free since this happened, guys. So I mean, yeah, definitely breaking news, and we'll call her an ex cheerleader from Kentucky. Just got hit, guys, with first-degree manslaughter. That's an indictment after her newborn was found dead in a trash bag stuffed inside of her closet. And you know what? Her roommates had to find the baby. So imagine what they're going through. This little baby didn't get to live, didn't get a chance to talk, didn't get a chance for anything because she decided to throw the baby away. Now, you know, for people like myself and many others that can't have children or don't have children, IVF, whatever, I can have them. I choose not to. I choose to let my wife birth them. But there's a lot of people that do want to adopt and would love to give that baby a whole new life. And instead, this nasty beast, and I'm telling you, because when I start looking into her, there's some bad stuff going on. Okay, there's some bad stuff. Not only that, but we're finding classmates saying that she was a bully. She walked around and smiled and played the cheerleader / beauty queen, but she was a big old bully. And then she got with another guy, and everybody thought that was the dad. So today, guys, we're talking about Laken Snelling finally being charged. And this is a good one. First-degree manslaughter. I will absolutely take that. All right. Now, she put her baby, what she told them was that she gave birth and then kept passing out. And every time she'd wake up and she doesn't know what happened with the baby. She might have slept on him, whatever. Well, guess what, guys? The autopsy says otherwise. It says the baby was born alive and probably whimpered before dying of asphyxia. Then she hid the body and deleted all evidence and left it in her room. Now, the arrest warrant we're going to get in today says she's facing 20 years. What sentence does she deserve? I think she deserves every day of the 20 years. Now, she is a former University of Kentucky student, cheerleader, and beauty queen. She was taken into custody. I loved seeing her new mug shot. That was today, the new picture. Listen, guys, a grand jury indicted her on this in connection with the death. They had an opportunity to do different, but instead, the grand jury decided to give her first-degree manslaughter, and I'm so here for it. Princess Mish, it's been forever, girl. I'm glad you're here. How you doing? Good to see you. Kathy says, I'll be right back. Shadow, what's up? Hey, Foxy Amazon, I got your grandpa's Sunday shirt on today. How's it looking? All right. Yeah, let her be a bully behind bars. Lady for Justice says, means a baby took a breath to be born alive. Good report. This monster lives near me. Yes, I have the indictment signed, sealed, and delivered. And we get to see her in court, and we get to find out who the baby daddy really is. Because you wouldn't guess it if you looked at the pictures. All right, Mr. Bot, what's up? Yes, finally. I hope you're doing well, Sadie's mama. I really do. Janet, how you doing? All right, Skylar 2.0 says Foxy. All right, guys, roll on in, hit that like button, get yourself a membership, all of the stuff. Let's get into this. I know a lot of people are on other cases right now with the Corey Richards trial and stuff, but every single one of you, I appreciate being here. All right, thank you so much. Yes, she will. You got that right. All right, now listen, we're going to get into the entire story, but we need justice for baby boy Snelling. And, you know, this guy didn't have a choice in the matter. He knocked her up, and then she got with another dude that she was taking pictures of. And even the pictures she took were suspicious because it looked like she was highlighting her baby bump. Okay. Again, I assure you, when we go through these pictures and her cheerleading, she's got a belly. And before that, she's skinny as a freaking rail. No joke. Skinny like she, the people that work out and have like 10% body fat, like that. All right. So, yeah, she lives 11 miles from Lexington, Kentucky. And that's where it is, guys. We appreciate you. I appreciate you. All right. So, who's the father of baby boy Snelling? We had to do some digging. Thank you, Tiff, for helping me on that. This is the father, but this is not and was not her current boyfriend. All right. But statement from the family of her actual boyfriend. I'm going to read to you. So, Zay, Z-A-E, that's what they call him, Isaiah. He has been DNA confirmed as baby boy Snelling's father. And Lexington Medical Examiner's Office released the baby to him upon confirming paternity. All right, so if that doesn't say any more, I don't know what does. Coffee Dog in studio, good to see you. And yeah, this is a real deal right here. I see the controversies happening here. All right. Now, listen, I didn't even know this. And I bet y'all didn't know this because the news is not talking about this stuff. We got to go on social media, Facebook, X, TikTok, and really get down with the get down. All right. So, look, I'm really surprised that they confirmed his paternity and released the baby's body. Now, not only that, they had a funeral for the baby. They gave the paternity test and gave the baby a proper funeral. So you know what I say? Bless you, Isaiah's family. Thank you for doing that for the baby boy. He deserved better than that instead of being in black trash bags, tossed out while you're out there hussying around, being all right. Now, so he did get the body released. We have confirmed the funeral home, but we will not be releasing that because they've already had so many random people showing up to get a look at the baby. All right. Now, there was a small service, but the immediate family will have a private burial and he'll be laid to rest next to the other family members, which I'm so grateful for. This is a statement from the family of Isaiah. And yes, Princess Mish, yes. Amen for that. That is so not, I mean, it's just terrible. But when I think about them doing this, it makes my heart feel better. All right. Now, listen, after his father and the funeral home received the baby's body and prepared for services and burial, Zay or Isaiah and his family have been respectful to Laken and her parents, but Laken and her mom were only at the funeral home briefly and then they left. Laken's father is distraught over this situation, and you got to remember, she's on house arrest and daddy's bailing her out. Daddy's at court. All right, daddy's doing the daddy role and knowing his little girl threw away a baby. Yes. She could have done anything, Tracy. Isaiah's family probably would have taken the baby. Claudia, good to see you. Thank you, Cool and Chris. If I didn't thank you for the Guilty of Crime membership and the super sticker, I appreciate you. All right, so listen, guys, this guy, we got to applaud to Isaiah Hall and his family for doing this and giving the justice to baby Snelling. Now, this is the family statement. Let me finish this. Isaiah has not spoken to Laken's family since February when she unexpectedly went no contact with him, and he did not find out about her pregnancy until law enforcement showed up at his door the same day she was arrested, guys. Now, he provided DNA at the day it was requested because she had another boyfriend. Okay, so we all thought the other boyfriend was the dad. All right, so he didn't even know. Cops came, get a DNA test, confirmed that is baby daddy. Now, Isaiah has great family support, and both he and his parents would have stepped in. That's what I'm saying, and gladly raised his son on their own. Had they been given the chance, but he wasn't. My screen is kind of stalling out. If it does, let me know. Now, so they would have took the baby. He's been with his son since he's been released. He was full term, and he had a head full of hair, long legs, big feet, and his dad's olive complexion. All right. So I want to thank Tracy for becoming an official crime crew member. That's number one. Thank you. I couldn't do it without you guys supporting the channel. We're going to get to Mr. Blonde Boyfriend. But when you hear that this father and the family would have taken the baby, that, by the way, we don't want to just think of baby Snelling as something that was in a black trash bag. We want to think of baby Snelling as a little boy that had full hair, full term, head full of hair, long legs, big feet, and this brown skin that everyone loves so much. All right. Damn, at least I am so glad that Isaiah did the justice for Snelling, baby Snelling, and at least had a proper burial next to the family. But it's still very disappointing. I want you guys to know it's serious. So that's the baby daddy. That's a statement from the family. Today, this monster was rearrested. She was booked into Fayette County Detention Center in Lexington on Thursday. Now, her arrest follows the March 10th grand jury indictment, and they added first-degree manslaughter. Yes, because before that, it was just tampering with evidence or some lame thing. Now, authorities have issued an arrest warrant after the indictment, which led her to being into custody today. Charges she's now facing are first-degree manslaughter, abuse of a corpse, tampering with physical evidence, and concealing the birth of an infant. All right. And why manslaughter was added? Well, because the medical examiner determined the baby was born alive. The infant's cause of death was asphyxia by undetermined means. Those findings led prosecutors to pursue more serious manslaughter indictment through a grand jury. And boom, there you got it, where she's going to be back in court, and I'm here for it. All right, let's do some visuals, and then I'm going to read some more, because I am a visual learner, and some of you guys are too. So you guys might have homework. Pay attention.
So a few days ago, I shared how Laken Snelling, the then 21-year-old college student whose baby was tragically found dead wrapped in a towel inside a trash bag in her closet last year, was indicted on a new charge,
Yes.
first-degree manslaughter. Previously, she was facing charges of concealing the birth of an infant, abuse of a corpse, and tampering with evidence. At that time, she was allowed to remain on house arrest at her parents' home. However, this new manslaughter charge changes her situation a bit, as after that new manslaughter charge was filed against her, a warrant was issued for her arrest. So now she is back in custody. It is possible.
Now I gotta tell you something here, and I know I'm not being, I'm not trying to be, if Black Lives Matter and this and that, but you know what? If this were a Hispanic or a Black lady or Latina or Guatemalan or anything else, she would have been locked up, and she'd have been there the whole time waiting for those charges to come down. I absolutely believe with daddy's money and their family stature, they let her out, and then now they let her out again. I don't know how you would do that to your child. No reason. Guys, she's happy as a clam. She gave birth and then went about her day right after. And Allie Callie, happy Thursday. All right, let's continue.
Possible that she could bond out again and return back to her parents' house.
And she now has. This came out in the morning. So this all took place today. 2 days ago, the grand jury indicted her on first-degree manslaughter, and it took 2 days for an arrest and a court date, which was this morning.
However, that's only if the judge determines that she isn't a flight risk and she agrees to strict conditions such as GPS monitoring, restricted travel, and regular check-ins, as she has complied with previously. For the past charges that she was facing, her bond was set at $100,000. She was able to pay that and then get out. Who knows if this new charge is going to carry a significantly higher bond, or if she's not going to get a bond at all. Usually in Kentucky, first-degree manslaughter is a pretty serious offense, so we'll have to wait and see what the courts ultimately decide. If convicted in Kentucky, first-degree manslaughter is a Class B felony, carrying a potential sentence of 10 to 20 years.
Now, guys, I'm pretty sure they're going to probably go light on the sentencing. So when I say 20 years, I'm just being hopeful. I doubt that they're going to give a girl that they've let out on bond now twice, that has family ties and connections in Kentucky, that they're going to keep her for 20 years. And it's not right, because if I did that, or you did that, we would still be locked up. And I just know it. Okay. Edith, good to see you. Come on in, hit that like button. You guys, if you're new here, make sure you subscribe, get yourself a membership. Tomorrow's Friday the 13th, and we're doing a members only stream. I haven't decided how we're going to do that yet, but we are. And Mama Pearl, welcome Mama Pearl to the crime crew. We finally bought her we got her a monthly subscription. So Mama Pearl is an official crime crew member. Again, we renewed it. Foxy, thank you for the Guilty of Crime membership. If you received that membership, please thank her. Clar, big hugs. All right, let's continue.
Behind bars. That's not even including the other charges that she is facing. The case will continue to move through the Fayette County court system, where prosecutors and the defense will present their evidence. Seems like they're definitely making an example out of her. Make sure that you guys are following me here on my page, especially on FB, to get the latest updates on this case as well as others.
Yeah, you guys definitely should follow this guy, because he puts stuff out like every day, and he does that perfect amount of content where you can just have a little break in your, what you're doing. I can have a break and then pop something else on for you. So we love it. But guys, we just got started. We're 21 minutes in, 106 people here. Hopefully we get a little more, but if not, let's bask in the fact that we can talk to each other without chat just flying. We can actually have a conversation. Foxy can make you laugh. All right. Yeah. Lexi Treviso's going to the prom is more infuriating and outrageous than this bitch. And there's more. There's more. Yeah, I agree, Foxy. I have paperwork up the yin yang for Alexi Treviso. We should get back into that. Anyway, I want you guys to see this BZ in court.
Turning now to breaking news, as an arrest warrant has been issued for a former University of Kentucky student indicted in the death of a newborn. Laken Snelling now faces multiple charges.
And look at how she shows up to court. What is she trying to be in a beauty pageant? And it is going to help her. I was going to say, what does she think that's going to help her? Oh, yeah, that's going to help her. She comes in all dolled up, not a care in the world, it looks like. I would like to see her have some remorse, but I have not seen that yet. A freaking red dress, and she has clown makeup on, in my opinion, right now. She looks like a freaking clown. All right? Lay off on the freaking makeup, chick, and it's your blush is too much. All right, I'm innocent. Well, the judge seems to think she is, because he just let her walk right back out, and it infuriates me.
Including manslaughter. Snelling was first arrested last August after a newborn was found dead at a home on Park Avenue in Lexington. She's set to be arraigned April 10th. This is a developing story, and we're going to keep you updated on air and online at WTVQ.com.
All right. And I appreciate your help. Tiff helped me a lot today to get this episode together. So what I want to do with you next is go over the charging documents. Let me see if I can get that back up here. I want you guys to, I really see that Fayette Circuit Court Criminal Branch 7th Division indictment, March 26th. I love it. 2026 Commonwealth, Kentucky versus Laken Ashley Snelling, the defendant. And guys, she had all the other charges, but they added the biggest one, manslaughter in the first degree. We need justice. I want to see her in there for at least a good 10 years. All right. I don't know why it took so long to get to this point. She had so many options. I agree. And you guys are going to be infuriated when I start showing you pictures and playing videos. All right. So buckle up, buckle in. I'm about to read those documents and get you caught up to speed. And you're going to see little Miss Thing jumping around with the baby bump, knowing damn well she was pregnant, trying to act like she rolled over on the baby and it just died. And so let's just put it in the closet, right? A clown in a red dress. Yes. Yes. Amen. All right, let's continue. I just have, you guys have to know. And for those of you that have read my book, put a 1 in chat or just say, hey, yes, Jay, I did. If you've read my book, you know what we went through, my wife and I, to have a baby. The cost, the nervousness, the doctors, the disappointment when you don't get pregnant, the excitement when you do get pregnant, all the stuff that comes with having a baby, and she did this. All right, yeah, Jenna, you read my book. You know exactly. I was driving a Mustang at the time, and I strapped a big old container in my front seat and went as fast as I could to Kaiser to get that bad boy out and make a baby. So that she can just throw this baby away, and it's so hard. We've been giving away books, Mr. Bot. We also have books in the Foxy boxes. I just lowered the price by $10. So, hey, you should absolutely grab a copy, or maybe you'll win one. Thank you. And you love it. Yeah. I mean, it's me. It's me. I'm an artist. I'm a mom. I'm a wife. I'm a lot of things. And it tells you that. All right. Let's continue. Not about me. All right. So look at, they added manslaughter in the first degree. Count 1. Count 2. Of course, abuse of a corpse. That's because she wrapped the baby and put it in the closet. And then tampering with physical evidence. Same thing. Class B felony for manslaughter. That's going to carry the biggest weight. Okay, that can be 10 to 20 years. And then these charges, Class D felony. I mean, you're looking at maybe a total of, I'm going to just guess that she's going to get probably like 12 to 15 years, and she won't serve most of that time. But maybe she won't. I'm trying to be hopeful here, because look at, the grand jury just reconvened on the 10th, which is 2 days ago. And I'm so glad they came to this conclusion. Now, on or about the 27th of August, 2025, in Fayette County, Kentucky, the above named defendant committed the offense of manslaughter in the first degree. When with the intent to cause serious physical injury to the infant. She caused the death of the infant, or with the intent to cause the death of the infant under circumstances which do not constitute murder, because she acted under the influence of extreme emotional disturbance, or through circumstances not otherwise constituting the offense of murder. Now, she intentionally abused the infant and thereby caused death to a person 12 years of age or less who is physically helpless or mentally helpless. Now, I wish it would say a newborn, beautiful angel baby, but I'm still glad they indicted her. Now, count 2, same thing. This one was back in August, same thing. And this one is for the intentionally treated a corpse in a way that would outrage ordinary family sensibilities. And guys, her roommates found that baby. I wouldn't be able to get that out of my head. All right, I'd have nightmares for sure. Then count 3, tampering with physical evidence when believing that an official proceeding is pending or may be instituted. She destroyed, mutilated, concealed, removed, or altered physical evidence which she believed was about to be produced or used in the official proceeding with intent to impair its verity, I think that's what that says, or availability in the official proceeding. Count 4, same thing, August 27, 2025. The above defendant is committed the offense of concealing birth of an infant when she concealed the corpse of a newborn child with intent to conceal the facts of its birth or to prevent a determination of whether it was born dead or alive. All right. That is the grand jury, signed, sealed, and delivered March 10th, 2026. 4-person. That's the person always in charge that speaks up, presented by the 4-person of the grand jury 2 days ago. As of today, signed, sealed, delivered. All right, that's it. Now we've got the bail down here, and she's out. She's out. That's the bad news. That is the bad news, is she's out, and we're going to get into that. So come on in. Princess Mish, been a member for 21 months. That's almost as long as anybody could be a member, because I've been here for 2 years. Thank you. I appreciate you. All right, let's take a look at this then, since we just talked about the other stuff. And I promise you we're going to get into pictures, videos, all of that stuff. But I wanted to bring you this in my style. All right. So what did I miss? What I miss? Anna, thank you for being a member for 6 months. I've missed the crime crew, been fighting the blues. Oh, well, we got you. I know how it is to have the blues. We're here. We're not going anywhere. I hope you feel better. I know how it is to not want to be watching true crime when you're feeling bad, though. So I get it. The Jab, welcome to becoming a member again. And then Princess Mish, thank you so much. I appreciate you. I'm pretty sure we found each other on Duty Ron's channel. Is that correct, Princess Mish? Anyway, I showed you this person in court today. That is her new mugshot. But she posted bond after being booked at Fayette County Detention Center on the manslaughter charge. All right. So I'm giving you play by play what happened today. Today's March 12th, 2026. And this is March 12th, 2026 at 3:25 p.m. today in Kentucky. Laken Snelling has posted a bond of $10,000 and is no longer booked in the Fayette County Detention Center. According to the court documents, Snelling posted the bond just before noon Thursday. Now, same day today, 12:55 p.m., Laken, who was indicted on March 10th by the grand jury of first-degree manslaughter. She was booked into Fayette County Detention Center, and a warrant was issued on March 11th. After that, her arrest following her indictment with connection to her infant son's death in August 2025. All right. Snelling's arraignment is set for April 10th, according to court records. And that's why I wanted you to, see the up to date. I got to get that out of the way. All right. Court records show that there's an arrest warrant has been issued. We saw that. We did all that. 10,000. And just quickly, if you guys don't know the original, what went down, a Fayette County grand jury has indicted Laken Snelling on first degree and other charges in connection with the death of her newborn son all the way back in August 2025. The grand jury returned that indictment 2 days ago, adding the manslaughter charge to the existing charges that Snelling had already faced. She's now charged with manslaughter in the first degree, abuse of a corpse, tampering with evidence, and concealing the birth of an infant. Now, this case began on August 27th, 2025, when Lexington police officers were called to a residence at the 400 block of Park Avenue at 10:30 in the morning for an unresponsive infant. Officers arrived to find the infant, who was pronounced dead at the scene. The Kentucky Medical Examiner's Office later determined that the infant was born alive and that its cause of death was asphyxia by undetermined means. Now, court documents detail events leading up to the discovery and previously reported that Snelling gave birth around 4 a.m. that morning of August 27th. Her roommates, they reported hearing loud noises around that time. Snelling later told police she did not believe the baby was alive. All right. According to court documents, Snelling told police she passed out on top of the baby. And when she woke up, she saw the baby turning blue and purple. She then wrapped the baby in a towel, believing he was dead. When Snelling woke up again at 7:30 in the morning, she placed the baby and the placenta in a black trash bag, and she put that in her closet, according to court documents. Now, around 8:40 a.m., Snelling told her roommates that she had passed out early this morning, explaining the loud noises that they heard. She then told them that she was going to the doctor's because she hadn't eaten and she's not feeling well. So Snelling also told medical staff at UK Hospital that the baby made a whimper and that she guessed the baby was alive. In the court documents, records from Lexington police indicate the newborn appeared to be full term when discovered. And you guys heard that already from the baby's dad, okay? Now, let me show you some pictures. I'm going to pull this up so you guys can see what I see. You can see what I see. All right. So there she is. I'm just going to show you some pictures, show you her Facebook and all of that stuff. Make sure I get this out there properly. All right. She was always planning on killing the baby. That is why she never told. It's weird because she, for some time, had a baby bump and you can see it. So I'm not really sure what happened. No, her parents did not know about it. And yes, thank God for roommates. Come on in, guys. Get yourself comfortable. Laken Snelling is now facing additional manslaughter in the first degree. Now that the medical examiner did reveal the baby was in fact alive. All right. So she's facing 20 years in prison for first degree manslaughter. But guys, don't forget, she's also facing the other charges. 20 years is only for the one manslaughter charge. Now, she's 21 years old. She was charged yesterday, March 11th. The Kentucky Medical Examiner's Office determined the baby was born alive but lost his life from asphyxiation by her, apparently. All right, so she's been indicted on first degree. The 21-year-old university student was detained at her off-campus residence after the baby was found unresponsive inside of a closet. Snelling gave contradictory accounts of what happened to the baby to the police and medical examiners. Now, you guys see it. We know this. This is her new booking photo, and so rightfully fitting. She does not look cute like she did in her cheerleading days and her prom queen days. Now, does she? No, she doesn't. What's up, Christine? How you doing? Good to see you. Mr. Bot says, in my opinion, a woman capable of doing that kind of thing to her own baby has major self-esteem issues. A baby is the most beautiful gift for a woman, regardless of the circumstances. Amen to that, Mr. Bot. Amen to that. All right, what's Foxy impressing us about with? I teach medical assisting, EKG, phlebotomy, pharmacology, and psychology. I also sub for ultrasound and vet tech, and she's a mod for Guilty of Crime. Woo! We love you, Foxy. All right. So just some of the pictures. Again, this whole episode, trigger warning, guys, is all I got to say. This young woman was originally charged in August 2025 with abuse of a body, tampering with evidence, and concealing the birth of an infant. This is how she looked before all this, okay? She pled not guilty when she was arrested in house arrest in Tennessee, right? She pled not guilty to the charges for which, listen, those charges add an additional 11 years to prison. So we got up to 20 years for manslaughter in the first degree and 11 additional years for all the other stuff. And look at her. I mean, not a flaw that we could see. There's other pictures like that too. All right. And I went to her Facebook. I'm going to show you. Now, she's the former University of Kentucky cheerleader, and she gave birth to the baby boy I just told you about. So we're not going to read through it again, but I wanted to show you that Snelling's roommates had discovered a blood-soaked towel and a plastic bag with her deceased baby in it. I don't know why they went in her closet or what led them to it, but that's what happened. In her absence, her roommates entered her bedroom, guys, and that's when they discovered a blood-soaked towel on the floor, as well as a plastic bag containing evidence of childbirth, according to the documents. Now, the infant's body was reportedly placed inside of a black plastic bag in the closet. And during a 911 call, Snelling's roommate told the operator that the baby was cold to the touch. The 21-year-old was detained, taken in for questioning, and soon returned to her apartment. All right, there she is. Orange is not your color, girl. It is not. Lay off the clown makeup and close your legs because you're about to do some prison time, lady. All right. So according to court documents, she did admit that she wrapped the baby up like a burrito and laid it next to her son's body because it gave her a little comfort in the moment. However, guys, of course, she gave different accounts regarding what happened to her child. First, she told officers the infant fell on the floor after she gave birth and that she didn't think he was breathing or alive. Then Snelling claimed that she had passed out on top of the baby, and when she woke up, the baby was turning blue and purple. What's a girl to do? Leading her to believe he was lifeless. Now, police said the 21-year-old allegedly cleaned up the scene, showered, and then left her apartment like nothing. All right, you're going to see some video here where you actually see the baby bump. And when you see this picture and you see the other pictures with 0% body fat, you'll understand what I'm saying. Now, an investigation revealed that she told medical staff that she had an infant and a little bit of fetal movement and a whimper after he was born. So the affidavit alleges that the suspect cleaned up the blood inside her bedroom, placed the towel, wrapped the baby in a trash bag, and put her placenta inside of a Ziploc bag, which she also tossed in the trash bag. By wrapping the infant in towels and placing it in black trash bags, the listed suspect treated the corpse in a way that would outrage ordinary family sensibilities. Read a police report about the arrest. Huh. Okay. Yeah, and you guys see this. There's so many people that are mad. She can't go back to wherever she was. No excuses, multiple options today. All she had to do was leave the baby at the hospital or take it to a firehouse. All right. Police found that she had taken photos while she was in labor. Did you guys know that? And I want you to see that this is not the father. Okay. Like, what's that show we watch? Maury Povich. You are not the father. Ah! You guys remember that? You are not the father. And then the lady runs out, screams. All the people try to pretend to stop her and bring her back on stage. You are not the father, sir. In fact, big dog Isaiah is the father. And joke's on you. All right. I don't know if he knew she was pregnant or what, but you are not the father, buddy. What's up, Wolfpack? Good to see you. How you doing? I know. I bet you didn't know half of this stuff. I'm thinking about putting the baby in the trash can emergency room. What? I'm thinking about the one who, yeah, you're talking about who we were just talking about, Alexi Treviso. I also covered that case, and it is in my playlist. All right, let's continue. You are not the father. Ah! Oh, man. All right. Let's keep going. This guy is not the dad, but she was dating him at the time. All right. Now, I didn't know this. Police found that she took photos while she was in labor, but then she allegedly deleted them in an attempt to hide her birth, guys. Snelling is also suspected of deleting other images connected to this case. Now, on Tuesday, we already know grand jury slapped her with manslaughter in the first degree. And attorney Kimberly Baird said that jurors were given the information about the homicide. They had the 4 levels of homicide and then deliberated and decided that manslaughter in the first degree was the charge that should come out in the grand jury. All right. So bye-bye. All right. The grand jury arrived to a decision. We went through all that. She went in today looking like a clown. She claimed the baby fell to the floor, whatever, keeps changing her mind. Listen, lady, you're going to be an orange for a while. Stop trying to look cute. We are going to follow up on this case. 21-year-old Laken Snelling's her next court appearance is in the next 2 to 3 weeks. After news of her arrest, a group of former classmates accused Snelling of bullying one of them and claimed that she had many people that she took her personal anger out on. She would bully my sister and her friends in the bathroom at school. She would just corner them. There were talks with teachers about her behavior, but nothing led to her stopping doing it. All right. So we got a lot of people talking about educations and monsters, and she's a bully. She's a straight up bully. She killed that child that was born. She held him in her arms and she decided to just throw him away. All right. So again, guys, always a trigger warning when you're here. All right. Let's continue. Put that up. I bet you guys didn't know about some of this, huh? I didn't. I'm still learning some of this. Orange is the new black. What's up, Harris O'Rourke? Good to see you. Praise families, human and prayer. Deb's in the house. Yes, Mean Girls, biatch. You got that right, my friend. All right, let's look at her all dolled up and a few things, and then we're going to get back into what these charges mean for this cheerleader, whatever you want to call her, beauty queen. That doesn't even look like her, so there's that. That's like a cartoon version of her. So that gives you a good indication of how she felt other people saw her, okay? Not even. All right, let's continue. She looks like a damn cartoon. Oh, everybody unfriended her. Lexington, Kentucky, 84 friends. But wait, she went to the University of Kentucky and was with all the mean girls. You mean that wasn't just a fake book picture? No. All right, so I was looking at her pictures because I really wanted you to see that she really looks like this, but smaller, even smaller, like tiny, tiny. You can tell when she's starting to be more pregnant, her face is full, etc. So you see her waist there? You'll notice later on that her waist becomes a lot bigger. She's a tiny little thing. All right. And she's starting to cover up with multiple things. In one of her posts, she talks about wanting to be a mother. Look, happy 21st birthday. I don't see a baby bump there. Do you? Wow. She's going to be spending her 22nd, 23rd, and beyond. But there she's starting to wear clothes and that are bigger. I want you to see how tiny this girl was. That gives you a good indication of her waist, guys. It was like those ladies that work out and do the competitions. That's how much body fat she didn't have and how small she was. Look at that. Always running around so you can see her belly. But when she was starting to show with her pregnancy, she started dressing differently. Look at that. No waist. I don't even think my waist was that small when I was like 10. All right. So, yeah, there you go. You can see this beauty queen that she thinks she is, but she threw a baby away, and that's that. All right. So, she hasn't been on here for quite some time, but this picture is a good indicator for you guys of how much she weighed and how little that she actually was until the pregnancy. All right. So, let me not leave you hanging. Oh, I got this for you. Hold on. Let's start with this one. I really want you guys to see the videos and all of that because it makes more sense when you see everything. I'm visual. You guys know that. So my visual yearning that I have's we gotta do it. Gotta do it. What did I do with that though? I'm looking for the News Nation one that I did not download. Here it is. Okay. What did I do? What did I do? All right. Let's take this. It won't pause. Hold on. All right. Here we go. Download. All right, guys. So you see this perfect little princess there? Little princess that's going to be doing some time. Yeah, because there's not really much else. She stopped doing check-ins. She stopped with a lot of things. She covered stuff up. And yeah, I thought in the first presenting of this, I thought this was the baby's daddy. Nope, not that guy. All right, let's drop this down and continue. Get her off my screen. How's everybody doing today? I'm so glad it's Friday tomorrow. I'm always here for a Friday. Let's go.
This is after a Kentucky grand jury indicted Snelling on one count of first-degree manslaughter in the death of her newborn baby. Now, Snelling was first arrested last August after a baby was found dead, wrapped in a towel, thrown in a trash bag in her closet. The 21-year-old told police she'd passed out after giving birth, fell on top of the baby, and when she woke up, she reportedly saw the infant turning blue and purple. But then there was a further investigation, and it reportedly revealed that Snelling told medical staff the newborn had actually shown some fetal movement, made a whimper after he was born. So Snelling was originally facing charges.
So she has contradicting statements that I think are absolutely going to get her charged pretty heavy. All right. And I hope that somebody in the jury doesn't take pity on her. You know what I stopped for? To tell Jen's a gypsy, you look really good in green. How come you're not green? Have you not been gifted a membership? Anyway, you look good in green. You're in black. Almost the whole chat's in green. Just saying. Members only tomorrow, you guys. Get your memberships. All right. We do giveaways, we do streams, we do chats, members only. All right. And the chat is lit in green right now. Damn. All right. CB, good to see you. Joseph Morgan. All right, let's go.
Like with corpse abuse, evidence tampering, concealing a birth. But yesterday's manslaughter indictment comes after the medical examiner determined the baby was born alive and then asphyxiated. Now, Snelling pleaded not guilty to the original charges. She's been on house arrest at her family's Tennessee home. She's now set to be arraigned on April 20th and faces a maximum of 20 years in prison if convicted of manslaughter. Podcaster Stephanie Pratt, host of Steph's Case Files, has been following the Snelling case since day one. She also knows Laken's mom. Stephanie joins me now. Thank you so much for taking the time. I first want to ask you about why this indictment now.
I'm telling you guys, this is Steph's Case Files. I think she's on like TikTok or Twitter. You guys, we got to get Jay from Guilty of Crime. We got to get me on these news station clips and all that because, man, how are these people applying? Great information, but I just think I should be right there. Well, I'm on the other side, so Jesse's in the middle. Technically, I am on the TV. And on all y'all's, thank you more for the Guilty of Crime membership. Cool and Chris for another membership. Both of you, thank you. And much love right back to you. Who is I don't want to leave. Saucy Skins. Much love to you. Love you back. All right. Let's continue. Look at Cool and Chris just gifted another Guilty of Crime membership. And Jenza Gypsy didn't get it. No. All right, let's go. Glowy4, welcome to the crime crew.
And why for manslaughter? Because I read it, and if I'm understanding correctly, you tell me if I'm wrong, there has to be an intent to cause serious physical injury or intent to cause death through an extreme emotional disturbance or intentional abuse, and then it results in death. It's not like, oh, I fell asleep and I fell on top of the baby. It was reckless. It was an accident. This is different. What leads authorities to believe this? And again, why indict her now?
Well, we know after the second autopsy findings that the baby died due to asphyxiation of unknown means. And basically, they know.
See, they should have me on there. I could explain this properly. All right. Well, now we're talking to each other, but we're going to get there, guys. We will get there. You guys, please thank Cool and Chris if you received a membership. All right. And after this, we're going to break down all of the reasons and things behind this case that are going into the next proceedings, into trial, etc. Lynn Suter, welcome. Look at Glowy4's got green. I know you tried, Cool and Chris. We appreciate you. Jenza Gypsies still in the black with, oh, yeah. You should definitely get a membership because I don't want you to be upset tomorrow. All right, that was a funny face on here, but thank you from Knoxville, Tennessee, Steph Case File.
That the baby suffocated, although they can't tell exactly how. There's a difference between murder and manslaughter. First-degree murder, there's intent, there's premeditated.
Why does she talk like that? I'm not trying to hate. I'm just curious. I'm having trouble pronunciating her stuff. She's like, there's a manslaughter charge with. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm trying not to be too like upset about this whole baby situation because, like I said, if you know my personal life and you know how hard it is for us to have children, and you've got this little prom queen princess on house arrest getting bonded out by her father, just strutting her stuff, it pisses me off, guys. It really does. All right. Thank you, Kimberly, for the Guilty of Crime membership. If you receive that membership, please thank her. All right. Yeah. Valley Girl. She's a Valley Girl. She had intent. I don't want my membership to be dirt under the bridge. I'm making you guys laugh because you know it's the truth. When she's talking, she's like, what are you doing, lady? All right. Sorry.
Meditation, there's planning. But with a first-degree manslaughter charge, there is only in the heat of the moment or under severe distress.
Yeah.
And they note that in the affidavit, in the arrest warrant, that this first-degree manslaughter charge is because of some sort of duress in the spur of the moment decision made by Lakeland, which led to the infant's death.
And if these allegations are true, we're trying to get a sense of what happened here. So I understand that you grew up.
We're going to get a really good sense of what happened. And I think he brought her on because she knows the family. Wolfpack, she knew she was pregnant. I've seen big women before that didn't know, like big women, 5'10", 5'11", 250-pound women that don't know they're pregnant because they're already big women. That girl, my friend, knew exactly what she was doing. She knew she was pregnant. She knew all of that. Okay, Elvis. We gotta laugh, right? We gotta laugh. Valley girl with a southern accent. Southern accent, baby. All right. Cancel that by I need to proofread. Allie Callie. You know, you'll be surprised what you do for your children.
Up with Laken's mom in Kentucky. What can you tell us about Laken? What can you tell us about her mom personally? What should we be knowing about them and their dynamic?
Well, I grew up with her mom in a town called Harlan County, Kentucky. It's a small coal mining town. Everybody knows everybody. A very, very conservative family. We did not have the same clique of friends as most high schools do. My family was very poor. Her family was very prominent. Her parents, grandparents owned 2 restaurants in the area, which was really unknown.
Like I said, folks, privilege. A very privileged life. And that's why she just gets to go chill out and cool out with her parents. So Steph grew up with her mom. Yeah, that's what she's saying. And she's talking about the privilege. Is she serious? Harlan, Kentucky? Yeah, damn boy, you can support your child without. No, absolutely. Absolutely. What I'm saying is that's the only people that she could have been released on house arrest to was them. And daddy's not going to say, okay, I'm going to throw you out. No, he's going to bond her out. You know, I hate to say it, but, I hate to say it, but there's my Red Bull. It's watermelon Red Bull. Do you want to drink, Allie Callie? So good. All right, Cheeky. Very privileged, conservative family. Well, that didn't work out, right?
To me, at least, I didn't know, and none of my friends had parents that were business owners. So her mom, Michelle, cheerleaded just like Laken did, was a very competitive cheerleader. And we all, I don't want to say this negatively because I don't know. I want to make it clear that I don't know Michelle. I haven't seen her since high school, but there is a competitiveness. There is a willingness to have a certain perception about their family.
So you guys can, that's exactly what I'm saying without listening to Steph's case files. Straight up. It's straight up privilege. Had I done that, I'd be sitting there and they would just throw away the key until it was time. I wonder if Laken's mother is still friends with this lady being on News Nation. I don't know, man. Allie Callie says that's my favorite color. I regret asking you a favorite flavor. All right, let's continue. We got a lot to go still. I don't know why.
Which may be some of the duress that Laken felt in that moment.
Can I just amplify that a little bit? And to be clear, this could be speculating and you don't have to say it, but based on what you know, and I don't know if you've ever met Laken herself, but what are you going to be looking out for as this case progresses based on what you know of this family that may give some indication, if these allegations are true? She's innocent until proven guilty, but if these allegations are true, what are you going to be looking out for the potential why here?
Come on, lady, tell us.
I don't have a reason for why, because Laken has a very generous, supportive family. She still has grandparents that live there in Harlan County. Everybody in Harlan County knows the Snelling family and the Brackett family.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download.
That was loud. Stop yelling at us, sir. All right, I want to show you a couple baby bump pictures, and then we're going to talk about what her sentence is going to mean. All right, that got so loud. All right, Laken Snelling, I just did a search on her. X is great to find a lot of things. So this one, I just wanted to give you perspective. This is all the way back from the first time she was arraigned and all that. Remember, that it happened August, I think 27, 2025, and this September. Now, the first picture is Laken Snelling, 21, at the end of April 2025 at an award show with an obvious baby bump. Then the second picture from court hearing today. I'm not good at guessing, but look at the postpartum belly. Anyway, this is not really, I mean, you could see it here. Compared to her being this tiny before, you see the baby bump. Well, you're going to see a lot more. Right? Look at her here. She looks all frumpy. She looks like a clown, and she is a clown. She is a clown. I want to see her do time. Look at this. People are mad as hell. And don't worry, I'm going to show you plenty more pictures. But they try to take this poor guy's face out. That's not happening, lady. You just got indicted. Okay, this is a good one, and you guys know I favor Jennifer Coffindoffer. So she just says call her coughs. September 6, 2025. There's been so much speculation as to who fathered the precious baby. The boy who was put in a trash bag by his mother, Laken Snelling, still cause of death undetermined. Now we know it's asphyxiation. Was Laken's former boyfriend the father, or Laken's current boyfriend the father? Law enforcement hasn't said, but we know it was the former boyfriend. All we know is that she looked pregnant based on photos, and it seems very difficult to believe that everyone close to her would not have noticed her pregnancy. Cop says, I'm not buying that her current boyfriend didn't know. Come on. Look at her figure before she was pregnant. And this is what I wanted to show you. I mean, this is like every woman's perfect. You want that waist, that no fat. I mean, you know, it's the perfect picture, let's say. All right. Perfect picture. That's how she was. And then, I mean, that's how she was. Look at that. It's like she'd been doing 100 crunches 3 times a day. I don't know, but she's fit, cheerleader fit, right? She's doing the cheerleading. That's how she looks. Not like that with that photo shoot looking baby bump thing. Look at that, guys. Look at that. First, look at this. Hold on, let's go back to the perfect body, right? And then look at that. As she's cheerleading, you can see the baby bump. She absolutely, in my opinion, knew that she was pregnant. And I think she was trying to decide if she was going to give birth and keep it or not, because she knew. She had to have known, and they had to have known. Other people had to have known. Just for reference, a county where Mickey Stein's killed just next door to Harlan. Awesome. Thank you. And who does that hillbilly crime? You got gas there, lady? You got some gas in Kentucky? No gas, just white privilege. Oh, look at what happened, though. 7 hours ago, there's her mugshot. She's all dressed out in orange. Not looking so pretty anymore, girlfriend. That's too bad. Too damn bad. White female, 60 inches, 135 pounds. Oh, no. All right. Fayette County, classification P4, holdover, current offenses, manslaughter in the first degree. I love it. Guys, she's only 22 now. This happened a year ago. She was released after her father posted $10,000 bond per court documents today. All right. So now we are going to start doing what is going to happen to her. What is going to happen to her and all the videos and all the things. Let's think a little bit, and then we can do some homework. All right. You can do some homework. I know, poor baby. We want justice for baby Snelling. I want you guys to remember that he was full term. Okay. That little boy was full term. He had a full head of hair, big feet, long legs, and brown skin. Okay. That is the father, the biological father, and they treated the baby like the baby should be. And even though the baby, good night, Sadie's mama, even though the baby, he didn't know about it, he didn't get the chance to know about it, he still took that baby from the medical examiners and gave him a proper funeral. Okay. So good on him. The family of Isaiah, you guys are right on track. Keep doing what you do. Zay, your family support is unbreakable. And I mean, look at that. The baby, that was his son. He's been with his son since he's been released. He was full term. He had a full head of hair, long legs, big feet, and his dad's olive complexion. All right. The chick wanted a mini me. But then what happened? Would she change her mind? What happened? Yeah, that boy was raised right. No, there's no, they call him baby Snelling. So Cool and Chris, we went over this in the beginning about the funeral and the baby being buried with the family at the cemetery. I don't know if they named baby Snelling. I think it's just baby Snelling. But regardless, he gave that baby a proper burial instead of a black trash bag with bloody towels. M to the J Dog, what's up? Good to see you. Yeah, she smothered the baby. The official cause of death was asphyxiation. All right. All right. So kudos to Isaiah and his family for doing that. All right. Now let's see this. Let's see her start to transform to little tiny baby waist to pregnancy, and also what's going to happen to her. Hold on. Sorry. Hold on. Hold on. I did the wrong one. Give me a second. Remove that and bring it back. We're not having any kind of weird weather here, and I know you guys are having storms.
Major update in the disturbing case of Laken Snelling, the former D1 college cheerleader who's accused of giving birth inside her apartment, allegedly letting the baby die, then disposing of the body and ordering McDonald's. She's now facing more serious charges in this case, and that could mean decades.
Guys, I mean, that's just a straight up monster. That's a straight up monster. She gave birth at 4:00 in the morning. She got up at 7:00 in the morning and said she was going to the doctor's, but she went and got McDonald's, and then she went and took care of herself. Didn't tell anybody about the baby. It was just going to sit there and rot inside of there. Look at her. Look at how small she is. You tell me that they didn't know. All right. What's up, Wyatt? Good to see you, buddy. Glad you're here. So many choices. I agree. All right, let's look at that and just keep an eye on that.
Prison. We're on the case presented by Law and Crime. I'm Chris.
We know who you are, and we love you,
here,
sir. Oh, that's
even more serious. This is the indictment that just came down. We also learned that an arrest warrant has been issued for Laken Snelling in the wake of the grand jury indicting her. This indictment reads, on the count of first-degree manslaughter.
And we don't need to listen to this again. I already read the entire document of the charges. All right. Basically, she got an additional charge 2 days ago. They upped it to first-degree manslaughter. All right. She caused the death of an infant, serious physical harm under the circumstances which don't constitute actual murder because she acted under the influence of extreme emotional disturbance or through circumstances not otherwise constituting the big M word. All right. She intentionally abused the infant and caused the death of a person 12 and younger. We saw all this. And I mean, they can say that because she did have a baby. She had a baby by herself in the room and probably not in her right mind, by the way, to do what she did. But no excuse. I just want to let you guys know. All right. So then they say she caused the death of an infant or intent. All right. We already went through all that. We don't need you. We don't need your documents.
Through circumstances not otherwise constituting the offense of murder. This is Laken Snelling. This is a video that she posted to TikTok. And this is a girl who went to the University of Kentucky. She was an athlete in the SEC, performing for a very special cheerleading team. And it just appears that she was living a normal college student life up until August of last year. But because of what she allegedly did on that day in her off-campus apartment, Snelling could now be looking at very serious prison time. A grand jury just indicted her on new.
And yeah, although we went through this, I'm visual and some of you are, so I want to see as they're talking, they're literally showing her progression. I'm shocked the left isn't. They actually are. They are actually talking about left and right in this situation. I'm surprised you haven't heard of that yet. They're absolutely talking about that. Despicable. I agree. What's up, Joanne? Good to see you. Or Joan. How do I pronounce your name?
Charges, including manslaughter. Now, when you hear the details of this story that we're going to go through, you might wonder, why are we not talking about a murder case? And we'll talk about how the grand jury reportedly landed on these new charges in just a moment. So let's talk about this story because it begins on August 27th.
Now, technically, we can just all go and say bye because I've told you the whole story, but I want to have these experts talk about the actual legalities of why and what possibly can happen. This is our time to converse with each other about this. She suffers body dysmorphia. That amount of filters reveals it. And I agree. I think that she absolutely was a mean girl at school because she had a bunch of stuff on her own that she hated about herself. So she had to bully other people. And they did say that. Hi, Jay. Joanne. Okay, cool. Joanne. There you go. I didn't know if it was Joan or Joanne, but thank you. TikTok videos. I hate TikTok. That's surprising because you're the generation for TikTok.
7th of 2025, the beginning of the school year, and it's around 10:30 in the morning that police in Lexington, Kentucky were called to Snelling's off-campus apartment. Now, this was a home that she shared with a couple of roommates. Again, very typical. Snelling was someone who had a lot going for her. Not only a student at the University of Kentucky, she was a varsity athlete. Now, when you think of varsity athletes at UK, and we were talking about the SEC, incredibly competitive, very talented people on these teams. And you have to be really talented to be a member of the Wildcats stunt cheerleading team. Now, this is not like the type of team you see on the sidelines.
And I think that's why they're giving her the maximum first-degree manslaughter, because they realized that this girl, there was no way this girl didn't know. All right. That we don't know that. We don't know who gave her access to have a male. Her pregnant? That guy? I don't know. All right, let's go.
At football games, this is a team that competes, does a lot of acrobatics. You have to be very talented and very brave to be a member of a team like this. Snelling withdrew from school after her arrest, and she's no longer a member of that team. And we'll talk about what happened in that off-campus apartment. But on the cheerleading note, just to give you an idea of what we're talking about, this is a screen grab of the Wildcats competing. We found this on FloCheer on YouTube, this video from April 2025. And according to court documents, law enforcement believe that the baby that we're talking about, the victim in this case, was born full term. So,
and guys, you guys know, you guys have children, grandchildren. It's so beautiful when babies are first born. They are the most beautiful thing on this planet. I just absolutely love how they smell, everything about a baby is just pure goodness, right? Not to her, it wasn't. Foxy's taking a poll. Did she get a McGriddle or did she splurge on a full Mickey D's breakfast platter? 1 for McGriddle or 2 for platter? Oh, and this is why you guys keep coming back to Guilty of Crime. All right, let's go.
If this is from April 2025, Snelling taking part in the team, she was very much pregnant, considering she gave birth in late August. Now, as we dive into the details of this case, there is that question that still remains. And it's the question of why. And it's cliche to ask it like that, but you just have to ask yourself, why did this girl allegedly want to hide this pregnancy from the people around her? Why did she allegedly allow this child to die? And why did she allegedly not tell anyone about it and left it to her roommates to make this horrific discovery inside their off-campus home? So
now, guys, there's another case, and you guys will probably know the name better than I do, because when I'm doing one case, it's like I forget the names. This other girl did that. She had a baby and she gave birth to it. Nobody knew about it. And she took it in the backyard and she tried to burn it. And then she buried it in her backyard. Well, she ended up getting almost no time. I cannot remember her name. I'm going to have to look that up. But you can basically, girl gives birth, tries to burn the baby, and then buries it in the backyard. Well, when law enforcement found out about it and her parents, they're like, why didn't you just come and tell us that you were pregnant so we can, etc. So this happens a lot more than you know. All right. Wasn't she Googling different? She was Googling a lot. Let's continue.
So let's go back to that day, August 27th, when police were called to a house in Lexington for a report of an unresponsive infant. The child was pronounced dead on scene, according to police. This was a baby boy. And according to a subpoena, law enforcement believe that the baby was born full term. This child was found in a closet. There's an arrest citation that says the infant was wrapped in a towel inside of a black trash bag. The citation reportedly says that Laken Snelling was read her rights, and she allegedly admitted that she gave birth to that child. And then She allegedly said that she concealed the birth by cleaning evidence and putting all the cleaning items inside a black trash bag along.
And I hope you guys, when you leave today, you guys can, you picked something up from this case, right? And yeah, you remember that, Tracy? You remembered her? She said when she was trying to cremate it with the freaking lighter in the backyard. My goodness. Princess Mish says, prosecutor gonna love this case. Some female dogs also will kill their pups at birth. I believe that's how the word biatch came about. Well, thank you, Angel for Truth. That's good to know. Patricia, my girl's in the house. It's okay. Better late than never. All right, let's go.
With the body of the infant who was wrapped in a towel. Now, the autopsy in this case could be incredibly damning to Laken Snelling's defense.
Now, I want you guys to realize what's happening here is that we were waiting for the medical examiner to come back with his findings, and he did. All right, that baby was full term, born healthy and whatever, and she asphyxiated it. All right, so there's that.
According to People, the autopsy showed that the baby was allegedly born alive and died of asphyxia by undetermined means. There's also court documents that the student newspaper at UK, it's called the Kentucky Colonel, they were able to get those documents.
I cannot, and that's why I believe that the grand jury indicted her on first-degree manslaughter, because if you go to the capital M charge, she might not get convicted because what Mr. Bott just said. Can you imagine the physical pain giving birth by yourself in a bedroom in the middle of the night? And I'll add to that, and then you go and take yourself to McDonald's and whatever. All right, you guys are talking about food. What's up? All right, what, Krista, you're here. Please stop eating Tide Pods.
Documents that reveal what Snelling told police after she gave birth around 4 o'clock in the morning on that day in August. She told officers that she didn't think the baby was breathing or alive, according to the student newspaper. And she also said that she was awake for about a half hour. She then fell asleep on top of the baby. And when she woke up, the baby had turned blue and purple. And Snelling reportedly said that she did not think the baby was alive. She then said she wrapped the baby like a burrito and laid next to it in what she called a moment of comfort. Now, this is all per the court documents that the student newspaper at UK were able to get. And it is interesting how that story compares with what Snelling reportedly told doctors later on. Now, when Snelling woke up for class that day, remember, she gives birth around 4 o'clock in the morning. Then hours later, she wakes up and she has class that day.
And she did her thing. She gave birth at 4 in the morning and then went about her life. That's one of the most wild things that anybody can do. I mean, I can't even fathom that. Like, I mean, the best thing she could have done was while she was giving birth or even right after, just dial 911. You could lie to him then. I didn't know I was pregnant. But there's no reason for all this, what she did. I think she wanted to keep her reputation as a beauty queen cheerleader. Well, lady, you're not any longer.
And she says she allegedly wraps the baby in a towel, then puts the body in a trash bag, and then places the bag in the closet. Snelling also says that she reportedly cleaned up the blood in her room with paper towels and put the placenta in a Ziploc bag.
Yes.
Now, even though she just went through this major medical event and her son was dead, Snelling then reportedly left the house to carry about her day allegedly as if nothing had happened. She had class that day, and she said she was planning to go to class, but she didn't actually go to class. She said that she sat in her car, and the court documents say that she ordered McDonald's through the McDonald's app. Now, while all of this...
I love the fact that y'all are doing that. I think she ordered a double egg McMuffin, definitely hash browns. Oh, we know, Joanne, we know what the baby's dad thinks. Did you just pop in? Go back to the beginning, and it tells you what the baby's dad and the family think of her. Jessica says, I can attest to her mental state, but why not go to a hospital, take it to a fire station? They have the baby boxes. And I agree, 110%. Anything else would have been better than what she did. What's up, Justice Jane? Good to see you, my friend. Thank you for hitting that like button. Laken is alive today because her parents didn't throw her out. Shameful, right?
Was happening, there appears to have been multiple roommates at Snelling's home. And around that time that Snelling reportedly said that she gave birth, one of her roommates had texted a Snapchat group that they thought that they heard something fall. And another roommate said that they thought that they heard noises for roughly an hour. After Snelling left for class, her roommates went into her room, and it appears she never told them that she was pregnant, but they were suspicious. And when they entered the room, they allegedly found a blood-soaked towel and a plastic bag containing evidence of childbirth, according to law enforcement. And they also say that they found the baby, and that is when they called police. Snelling eventually went to the hospital, and it is at the hospital where she told doctors allegedly that the baby displayed, quote, a little bit of fetal movement, and the baby made a, quote, whimper, and Snelling, quote, guessed the baby was alive. Now, these statements are going to be huge in this case going forward, and you can see how when we talk about manslaughter, how that may have played a role into the grand jury's decision.
Now, listen, I'm sure it played a huge role because her mental state was that of a woman that gave birth to a baby by herself without anything. And yeah, like Foxy said, she probably, and that's not this, she probably freaking bit the umbilical cord off with her teeth and just kept on going. She's a freaking savage. But her state of mind is important. And if you overcharge, it's not good. It's not good. You won't get it. Yes, agreed. Cold hard facts. And I don't ever try to not say that she absolutely is a murderer. And now Tiff wants a bacon, egg, and cheese from McDonald's, but you have to wait because they're not available until tomorrow morning. All right. Yes, a live baby, full term, big feet, arms, hair, all that, full term. Poor baby.
Snelling's digital footprint may also be key evidence going forward in this case because it appears that police have images of Snelling during labor that she allegedly deleted. Police say in a request for a search warrant for Snelling's social media accounts, they say they could, quote, contain current or deleted information that relates to Miss Snelling's pregnancy to the birth of the full-term baby. And
I'm not sure that they're going to give her a plea deal, Miss Princess Mish. That's interesting that you said that, though, because I wonder if they would offer her a plea deal. That's 4 big charges. If she goes to trial and that jury hates her as much as we do, she's going to be doing like freaking 30 years. Not to say they'll be in for that long, but she's facing 11 years for the first 3 counts and up to 20 for the latest. That's 31 years max. That rarely happens, especially somebody that gave birth and that looks like that with family ties, but it is a lot. What kind of noises? Maybe baby crying? Well, remember, she was probably hurting in pain, screaming, and the baby did cry a little bit, but I don't think they heard a baby cry. I think it was her giving birth. I really don't understand why she'd do this. She had to have known. Yeah, I mean, yeah, we can go in circles with that question all day long.
Ultimately, its potential demise. Now, we have not seen those images. No one has seen those images. But again, another very key piece of evidence potentially in this case. Now, publicly, Snelling, she appeared to be active on social media up until the spring when she stopped posting pictures of herself from what we can see. Another shocking part of this is it appears that Snelling presented herself as someone who had aspirations to one day be a mom.
And look at that. She's got her freaking goals up here. And it says birth month, favorite color, hair color, eye color, favorite season. And in her goals, it's to get married and have a baby, make some money, have a family and a house. So why didn't you do that then?
This is the last post that she had on TikTok from June. And it's a picture with emojis that describe her. And in the bottom left, we noticed there's one that says goals, and it shows an emoji of a mom with a child. Now, another big question, who's the father of the boy that Snelling allegedly gave birth to? We know that an ex-boyfriend submitted DNA to police and that Snelling was reportedly in a relationship with another man in more recent months. And that's just based on pictures that we saw before.
Well, listen, Patricia, you just got here, and I'm going to tell you right now, I read the indictment from the grand jury, and they don't believe what she said about falling asleep on him at all whatsoever. And she's changed her story several times. All right. The baby, the medical examiner finally did the autopsy and came to the conclusion that baby Snelling was asphyxiated by we don't know what. So I don't know if that's still going to be her defense, but yeah, mom, very spoiled, very selfish person. It is possible to get a mental break, but she doesn't get a pass. Very obsessed with herself. Agreed. That is the baby daddy, right? That's him right there. That guy's name is Isaiah, and that's the actual father of the baby, right? And they gave a family statement. They buried the baby properly. They made a statement and said, we would have taken the baby with and raised the baby without you. You could have just given us the baby. We'd have took care of it. All right. Son makeup, where is she going? No makeup, where is she going? All right, let's continue. Let me get back to this. I don't think they even name him in this episode, though.
Before she gave birth, but it's unclear what their relationship status is right now. Now, before Snelling's case went before a grand jury, according to WKYT-TV, prosecutors issued a subpoena to UK Medical Center, and that subpoena demanded all of Snelling's medical records going back to August 2024, roughly a year before she gave birth, to now. So this arrest warrant, we've learned, has been issued for Laken Snelling in the way.
You know who she reminds me of? Michelle Carter. You guys know the Michelle Carter case? She didn't get much time, but she had a boyfriend for like 2 years, and he was talking about taking his own life, and she kept trying to talk him out of it, and then finally she talked him into it. That's the kind of girl that she reminds me. If you guys know about the Michelle Carter case, there's a documentary, there's a whole series. You should watch it. That's the kind of girl that reminds me of her. There's no way she fell asleep. I know. That's why that's the whole thing. There's no way she fell asleep on the baby. But listen, she also got other charges because of what she did with wrapping the baby up the way she did. So rightfully so. All right. Yes, they found the dad. His dad found him, right? All right, let's continue.
Of the grand jury indicting her and the fact that she is now facing this first-degree manslaughter charge, among other charges. Prior to today, Snelling's bond was set at $100,000, and she posted that. She's been on house arrest since her arrest last year. A judge at the end of 2025 did tweak her bond conditions. She has been wearing an electronic monitoring device while on house arrest, and she also, the judge ruled, can only be on house arrest at one location, opposed to splitting time between her mom and her dad's house. She reportedly has been staying at her dad's house in Tennessee. But
I mean, listen, she's in Tennessee. I went to high school in freaking Oakdale, California, the cowboy capital of the world. And those girls were a dime a dozen at that school, okay? But they were also mean girls, all right? They only would talk to you if they needed something or wanted something from you. Otherwise, they didn't know your name. That's that kind of girl. I went to high school for 4 years with those kind of girls. As a matter of fact, the first week that I ever started that school, I was a freshman, and a senior looking like that, blonde hair, blue-eyed white girl, told me to go back and hang out with my own kind. Go hang out with the Mexicans. First of all, I'm not Mexican. Second of all, I can't hang out with them because they don't speak English and I don't speak Spanish. But that's what she reminds me of those girls. All right? Yes, the mean girls. All right, let's continue.
With the news of this arrest warrant, that potentially could be changing. Now, the grand jury heard Snelling's case in January, and now a couple months later, we have learned that the grand jury indicted her on those serious charges, including first-degree manslaughter. And again, those other charges: abuse of a corpse, tampering with physical evidence, and concealing the birth of an infant. WKYT-TV spoke with the Commonwealth attorney about how the grand jury landed on manslaughter against Snelling, and that attorney said the grand jury was given information about the 4 levels of homicide in Kentucky, and grand jurors decided that first-degree manslaughter was the best charge for Snelling to be indicted on.
Now, that is a big charge, guys. The first degree, that is the charge. We were talking about her being a mean girl. After she got arrested, people came out and were talking about it on social media. She was absolutely a bully. Thank you, Harris. Hit that like button. Joseph Morgan never told no. Poor no sabo, Jay. It's all good. I never had to do that again. Once I whooped her ass, nobody messed with me again after that. So we're good to go. Good to go. She can try to be mean behind bars, but she's going to be somebody's bitch.
Based on the evidence. I spoke with Eric Faddis, criminal defense attorney, before the news about Laken Snelling's arrest warrant broke. Joining us now to talk more about this case and where it could go next is criminal defense attorney Eric Faddis. Always great to have you here on Law and Crime. What do you make of the grand jury's decision? They could have charged her with murder, and they go with first-degree manslaughter.
Chris, I can't help but wonder if there was some sympathy in those deliberations that could have caused the grand jury to land on this first-degree manslaughter charge. Like you mentioned, that's a lesser charge than some of the other homicide and murder options they had with which they were presented. And so I'm just wondering if sort of that human aspect of all of this could have played a role in that charging decision.
Yeah, the Commonwealth attorney said that there were 4 levels of homicide that they could have gone with the grand jury, but they land on first-degree manslaughter. And from the narrative that has been reported, she gives birth, very.
I mean, I'm okay with that first-degree manslaughter charge because that's what has to happen. You know what I mean? And I think she went to school. They talked about Tennessee, so I'm not really sure. What's up, Jinx? How you doing? Good to see you. Happy meals. That's right. Angel of Truth. Yep. Comer's already getting her. Breathe. Thank you for being a member for 11 months. Almost a year. I know, right? She's a narcissist biatch who thought it would never happen to me attitude. Day after pill, one option, condom, implant, shots, pills, IUD, the family, the baby daddy family, anything, right? How long jail? First degree manslaughter is up to 20 years. And the additional 3 charges are up to 11 years. So she's facing, if she goes to trial, up to 31 years. All right. And we can break it down even further if you want to after this.
Very, traumatic experience to an extent, but then, ends up hiding the body allegedly and then leaving for class. What would have been kind of that argument? What would the argument been for this to be a murder case potential?
Thank you. Yes.
I think if
yeah, let's hear about this because I think the human element of what was going on in her head with her body having a baby just hours before definitely comes into play. But she's still facing a lot of time. Mary Beth, yeah, congratulations. All right. Let's hear what he has to say.
If there were some malice involved, if there were some after deliberation, usually those are elements required for first-degree murder, and also the intentional killing. So if she had planned this out, if this is something that she had contemplated for quite some time, that this was how she was going to handle.
And we don't know because she deleted a lot of her things from the phone, whether it was social media pictures, images. She took pictures of herself giving birth. Right. And that's a good point, Kimberly. If they sentence consecutively with her stature in the community and her family having money, you're right. They might not do that. They might not sentence her concurrently. Right. They might not. They might do it consecutive and she'll be out in no time. That sucks. All right. Jinx said, I'm doing pretty good. Tomorrow's Friday. We'll come through tomorrow because we're going to do a members only something tomorrow. All right. Let's go. You're welcome.
This baby coming, that certainly could have elevated the charge. But here it seems like, according to most public reports, that this was kind of something that happened very quickly, and she made the decision she made, and here we are. She's still charged with something very serious, but it's not the same as if she had sort of planned to kill this baby from weeks prior.
And she's facing, it's a lesser charge than what it could have been, but still, she could face 20 years in prison if she's found guilty on first-degree manslaughter. And she's also facing these additional charges that are still very serious. The abuse of the corpse, the hiding of pregnancy.
That's the least of her worries, but Indy Isham, that's funny that you said that. Her eyes are too far apart. Is that why she did that? I do love the 111 at the end. Hello, Indy. Good to see you, my friend. I hope you come around tomorrow. All right. Let's go.
Or hiding the birth of a child charge. As a defense attorney, when someone is facing that top line charge that could mean some serious prison time, how do you go about putting together a defense that also factors in some of those lesser charges that are also still very serious felony charges that she's facing?
Sure. I mean, it's a difficult approach, a difficult thing to navigate no matter what. In looking at the charges, sometimes you look at those and you say, hey, the more serious charges are easily defensible or more defensible than perhaps some of the less serious charges.
Yeah, you guys, I think she might end up taking a plea if they offer it, guys, because you know what? I didn't even think about that as well. I mean, I usually think about it around sentencing time, but consecutive or concurrently? Is she going to have to do one after the other, or are they going to run together, the two sentences? I would probably say that they're going to run together, knowing the family has money and stature in the community. And that sucks. What are you guys talking about in chat? How is it? What? A transvestite cat? What is that? Friday the 13th. Jason's ready. I'm ready too. Indy Isham says, sorry, sweet Jay. I'm sick like the flu. Not in the head. Well, maybe. Well, honey, I hope you feel better. It's okay. Get better.
And sometimes at trial, you even kind of make a bargain with the jury in a sense. You say, hey, look, she's admitting to one of these lesser charges, like hiding the birth of a child. That's something that she is telling you she's done. But that doesn't mean she's responsible for these more serious charges of criminally causing the death of that child. So sometimes you can actually try to use those less serious charges in a favorable way to get a better outcome at trial.
Squirrel.
To my understanding, she didn't have a criminal record before this. She's
Carly's
out on bond. You know, she may be a sympathetic figure to some jurors, but there's also, it seems like, scientific evidence that proves that it was her baby, that this baby was born alive, and then the baby passes away and she leaves.
I didn't.
So there's kind of the rundown of the actions itself. Like, how does that typically play out in court? And I know it's jury by jury, where you have this sympathetic figure that some jurors may really feel sorry for, that all of this happened, but at the same,
or if somebody knows her grandpa that's been going to those restaurants they own for years. You guys are crazy. I'm not even going to read the chat right now, all right? Because you guys are off the chain. Right? Just saying. Yeah, I must really, I mean, this case is hard, and I know that if we're sitting there thinking too hard about it, then it's infuriating. So I'm glad you guys are having a laugh in chat. And the DA to do the pleas to save time and money. I wonder though if they are, because of the influence. They let her out on house arrest. She's been out for almost a year, meowing in jail. Oh my God. We're just trying to keep you on your toes, Jay. Well, I'm ready. I'm ready.
If you're a prosecutor, you kind of give the bullets of what happened here, and that itself can be an incredibly strong argument to make.
Oh, most certainly. And I think, Chris, one thing you have to do is address that in jury selection. You have to really feel out what
I don't either.
Who these jurors are. What have they experienced? You know, in this case, for example, if I was defense counsel, I might want some younger folks, especially younger parents on the jury who are just, acutely, intimately familiar with the challenges of having a child. But that can go both ways, because some folks might be on there, they might be young.
Yeah, you might get me on there, or one of you guys that aren't able to have children, and be like, lock this bitch up as long as you can. Good to see you, Carly. I'm glad you're here. I couldn't figure out the puzzle. Love my guilty of crime fam. Good vibes here. Absolutely. And yeah, Foxy is the best cheerleader. She has quite the resume.
Parents and say, hey, I went through all of this, and we, did what we were supposed to do as parents. We protected this child, and then this person chose a different route, allegedly, and so she could be looked at as less sympathetic in that sense. And I think if you get some older parents and even grandparents on the jury, they might look at this even less sympathetically as well. So it's really difficult. You sort of got to get into the personal experience of those jurors.
Yeah, I don't think she's gonna even want to have a jury trial. I wonder how that's gonna go. Now listen, guys, she's going back to court again in 2 to 3 weeks. The date is what, I think the beginning of April or something, or the end of March. We really want to see what happens here, and I promise to update you guys. Adam Montgomery got hungry for drive-through after what he did to Harmony, right? That happens a lot, actually. I can go on and on about people. Yeah, put me on the jury. I'll just say guilty on all charges, and I'm not changing my mind. I won't be a good juror.
And how that might affect arguments from either, or how that might be, how they might receive arguments from either side.
The Commonwealth attorney said that Laken Snelling could be back in court in the next 2 to 3 weeks. Will she have to appear? And I know she's pleaded guilty to those other charges that she was already facing, but then does she have to enter an official plea, go through the whole process again when it comes to this new charge of manslaughter?
Most likely, yes. Yeah, there would have to be a plea to every charge
Oh.
that has been levied. And so, yeah, my apprehension is that she's going to plead not guilty. According to some reports, she has given statements that suggest that from her perspective, this may have been an accident.
Yeah, she's very contradictory, but I mean, it could be. I mean, who knows, right? We have to be fair. So, yeah, many monsters among us. I agree. Field trip to the courthouse just to say guilty. You know, Cool and Chris, it's really hard to have. So, you're right, have sympathy for someone who went to McDonald's after wrapping her baby and putting him in trash bag for their roommates to find. Put that in perspective. My goodness. I forgot my trigger warning today. I have no sympathy for her either. Intentional harm of a child should be automatic life in prison, natural life, not 25 years. In my opinion, I agree. All right, let's continue.
And if it was an accident, then that changes the game completely, and really has bearing on whether they can find her guilty of these charges. Going to depend on sort of what the jury believes and how they see the sequence of events playing.
You know, I see zero remorse from her, you guys. She has not been on social media, obviously, because of all the stuff going on. People are mad about it, right? So we haven't seen what she's out there doing. But I bet you she's out there just living the best life that she could right now. She's on house arrest. What is she doing? She's not working. What is she doing?
Out.
How soon after an indictment comes down might the prosecution and the defense start talking about a deal and what that could look like, or going to trial?
You know, it really varies by case. It varies sometimes by prosecutor, by defense attorney. But those negotiations could be taking place as
Right
early as now. They could have already.
That's what I was going to say. So you guys really try to help me watch this case too, because come 2-3 weeks from now, the next time she goes to court, it may be a plea deal. You never know. All right. What time? We're doing Mrs. Bennett, same time every day, Monday through Friday, 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 7 p.m. Eastern. Right. I'm in California, so 4 o'clock in Cali. All right, let's continue. And is it just me, or does anyone else find this? I mean, is that still cool to have your chest hair all popping out and open, or what happened here? Anyone like that? Sorry.
Have been started. You know, I think both sides are probably motivated to reach a fair outcome in this case. Now, they might have very different opinions on what a fair outcome is, but I think there's still room to reach some kind of compromise given the somewhat unusual circumstances of the case.
And when it comes to her bond condition, she's out on $100,000 bond. I think she's spending time at her dad's house currently in Tennessee, and then she has to wear a GPS monitoring device. There are a lot of people that'll face these types of charges that will never get out ahead of a trial, but she's able to. Does a new charge impact potentially what her bond conditions could be if she's been following those conditions, which it does appear that she has since she was given them?
It very well could. You know, in most jurisdictions, prosecutors are allowed to seek an increase of bond, just as defense oftentimes seeks a decrease of bond, a modification of bond conditions. Right?
Now, I want to tell you the reason her parents weren't charged with neglect. Number one, she's 21 years old. Number two, she didn't live with her parents, Nana Rocks. She lived in an apartment with her friends. So, you know, who knows? Maybe they give them the benefit of the doubt. They just thought she was getting chunky, right? Those girls that are perfect in high school, they're the peak of their life in high school. They hit their mid-20s, early 30s, and they're not looking like that anymore. So just saying, I mean, I'm not going to sit there and blame the parents just because I don't know. I'd rather see chest hair than man boobies. Yeah, agreed. I just think the porch light is on, but no one's home. With the girl, you mean? Because she absolutely reminds me of Michelle Carter. She's like weird off. Something's off. All right, let's continue. Wolfman in the house.
Can do that too, based on new information, based on new developments in the case, based on new evidence. And with this very serious charge, of manslaughter, that could change the calculus in terms of bond, could convince a judge
Ah,
to cause her to be remanded back into custody while this case is proceeding. However, I think the judge might be
yeah,
more
exactly.
inclined to maintain the status quo to the extent that the defendant has been complying, which it sounds like she has. So she may still receive the benefit of being able to fight this on the outside.
Oh, she's gonna fight it from the outside. We already know she was only in custody for a few hours before her dad bonded her out. All right, Tiff, feel better. I don't know what I missed something, but everyone's saying good night, Tiff. Feel better. And if it makes you laugh, there's a hairy chested guy on the screen. Oh man, she's grown. Yeah, she's grown and knows right from wrong. You can't charge the parents. I wouldn't want to be charged for something that my 21-year-old daughter did that didn't even live with me. Just saying. We could not like the dad for bonding her out, but yeah,
How problematic is it that she left the house after all of this happened? Because and there's been different.
that's gonna weigh heavy on the juror's mind as well. Is the zero remorse that we see from her. All right. She doesn't go into into court and she doesn't give anybody that I want to give you sympathy vibe. She gives you the vibe of lock this bitch up, throw away the key. All right. Oh, how much I love a hairy man. Well, there you go, Allie Callie.
Different reports about what her side of the story is, and there is this medical episode she had, which in some ways is very traumatic, but then there's that decision of I'm walking out of here, and she wasn't the one who called 911. It wasn't even that she had some come to Jesus moment apparently later in the day where it's like I need to call police about this happened. It was her roommates that had to make this discovery. Like, if you're the defense attorney, like, how do you handle that fact?
According to some of the reports that I've read, Chris, I think the defendant is going to lodge the defense that this was an accident, that this child was born, and during that birth, the defendant passed out and rolled over on the child, causing the child to not be able to breathe and die. And so from there.
But I do wonder if she's going to stick to that because she's changed her story a couple of times. So I don't know how the defense is going to take that. Jamie Brown coming in late. Hello, welcome. Yeah, I mean, she knew. I mean, we saw how she was dressing, everybody. We saw that she was wearing bigger clothes and trying to hide her belly. Yeah, obvious lie. Very obvious. That's why they waited for the medical examiner to do whatever he needed to with the baby to determine the cause of death so that we wouldn't be in this predicament where she only gets, tampering with the body, getting rid of evidence. Those charges are nothing, but the first degree manslaughter, that's everything.
At least according to the defense, the defendant then put the child in a towel and into a closet, I believe, and then just left. Now, certainly, that's a problematic fact for the defense. It might appear callous, it might appear heartless, and so I think defense really has to sort of humanize that piece of this by saying, "Hey, this was a young girl. She was freaked out. She didn't know what in the world to do, and she made the wrong choice. But that's not the same thing necessarily as making the criminal choice. And if the baby was deceased by the time that the defendant had left the baby in the closet."
Now, I thought that she did too. I thought that it was a maternity shoot. The one that she had with her boyfriend looked like they were doing a maternity baby type of thing, but in fact, it wasn't. She could have done anything, Mrs. Bennett. The family of the boy, the baby's dad would have took the baby. They said they would have took the baby and raised him, no questions asked. All right. And she has zero remorse, in my opinion. Patricia, do you know how far along she was when she took a test or? All right, let's continue, or we'll never get out of here.
Closet. That gives rise to less criminal culpability than if the baby was still alive and just had to suffer there.
Yeah,
and we still have a long way to go to see whether or not this actually goes to trial. But if she wasn't to take the stand in her own defense, like, how do you build that sympathetic figure if you as a defense attorney are not going to have her in kind of the line of fire of prosecutors who could come back?
Sure. So you have to tell the story through the voices of others, if you can't tell it through your own client for legal reasons. And so, you would call potentially family members.
Oh, they're not gonna, guys. There's no way she can go up on that stand. As soon as she walks into court, you can see what kind of person that she wants us to think she is, but she has zero remorse, in my opinion. Bull. She thought she could pretend baby Snelling was the new boyfriend's. Come on, dude. That's what I was thinking too. Now, listen, Carol, that baby was full term, and they did not release the how much he weighed, but did you just come in? Because earlier we talked about the autopsy and the medical examiners, but the medical examiner's office released the baby to Isaiah, the baby dad's family, and the baby had a full, complete funeral. The baby was full term. It says it right here. Hold on. They don't say the weight or anything, but they do say that the baby would small service, medical examiner, paternity, father prepared his service. Where is it? Laken's family's distraught. Yeah, February. No contact. He provided DNA. Okay, so the family support, both his and his parents, would have stepped in, gladly raised the son, but he wasn't. He's been with the son since he's been released. That boy, the Laken baby, Snelling, he was full term. He had a head of full hair, long legs, big feet, and his dad's olive complexion. So if that makes any sense to you, it was a boy. Baby boy Snelling. You see that? So that family gave a statement after the DNA was confirmed that he is the father, and they gave him a proper burial. All right, let's continue. I actually want to, hold on, let me finish what Wolfman, and I just want to go over the charges for those that just got here. What is this guy talking about still? Hold on.
And I know you probably have to have some really serious conversations with clients about the reality of like, this could end up that way. Where does the negotiation begin? Is it you as the defense attorney typically that's picking up the phone after an indictment being like, all right, what are you guys looking to offer?
It depends, Chris. Oftentimes on the defense side, and I've been on both sides, usually on the defense side, it's advantageous to have the prosecutor make the first move, to have the prosecutor make the first plea offer, because then you can negotiate from there. That's sort of, now that's worst case scenario as a plea offer. And you try to chip away and exert leverage and try to get a better outcome from there. But those discussions are usually pretty candid. And in fact, they're typically not admissible in court. So if those discussions break down, if defense went to the prosecutor and said, hey, for these reasons, X, Y, and Z, she was a young kid and she freaked out, she made a horrible call, let's give her some kind of break, and that doesn't work. Usually those discussions don't come into trial. The jury never hears about it. So it's something that happens behind closed doors, and can be, those discussions, not only difficult with the client, but can be difficult with the prosecutor.
Well, guys, I have a feeling that when the next court date comes, we're going to get something substantial. What's up, cheapskate? I haven't seen you in a minute. Howdy, Wolfman. All right. Yes, definitely poor baby. I don't understand. I can't comprehend these crimes that are happening every single day. Super late, so I'll go back later and watch from the beginning. Well, thank you for coming and saying hi. We missed you. Tomorrow is going to be a members only night. I'm not sure if it's members only where you can chat or see it, but we're going to do something members only. He does look like Al from the Hangover. Cat H says, I was so sick with my second pregnancy. I lost 17 pounds. Stopped by work after delivery to show my friends the baby. One staff member challenged me about being, wow, so you weren't even really showing that much. I agree. And you guys will want to see this better. I don't like to see her face because she's so into herself. And now that I hear she was a bully, this is the only way that I want to see her. So this all happened, guys. If you guys just rolled in, this happened because the grand jury finally convened on March 10th, 2 days ago, and added the first-degree manslaughter charge to the abuse of corpse, tampering with physical evidence, and concealing the birth of an infant. All right. So she was rearrested today or yesterday, and then she bonded out early today. So now she's out again with the ankle monitor. I think she's probably on house arrest still.
Manslaughter after her newborn baby was found dead in her closet. Officials say Laken Snelling gave birth to a baby boy at her off-campus home in Lexington back in August. Now, according to the medical examiner, he was born alive but later died from asphyxia. That mother has pled not guilty, but if convicted, she could face more than 3 decades in prison. Joining me now to break this all down, Fox News contributor and host of the Crime and Justice podcast, Donna Rotuno. Donna.
What's up, Donna? So that's what we're going to do right now. We've been talking about it while we were thinking about what prosecution's going to do, what her charges are, how they're going to go down, etc. All right. Yeah, she does look different without all that damn war paint like a clown. Yeah, and that happens. Sometimes people don't show until later on. But once you realize the baby's coming out, well, then you don't suffocate the baby. All right, let's continue.
And I can't help but think that prosecutors in a case like this, a horrific case like this, are not only trying to make an example of this person with the charges that have been levied, but also really using the notoriety of this case to remind other mothers out there that there are options like adoption in a situation like this. What are your thoughts?
Well, first of all, Todd, good morning. Thank you for having me. I will say that this situation to me, I think she got lucky. These charges to me, it could be worse. She could be facing first-degree murder cases where she absolutely charges where she absolutely never sees the light of day. So,
and that's true. That with a manslaughter, they can literally give her like 5 years for it. What are you guys talking about in chat? I've been pregnant, but look like I'm 10 months. Oh, get out of here. You had 9 and never could imagine doing it alone? What? All right, let's continue.
The fact that there's a manslaughter charge here, I think means she got off easily. Frankly, I mean, the minute you put a newborn baby in a plastic bag, how do you not know that they are going to die from asphyxiation?
But then you go and have McDonald's. Guys, that baby was, in my opinion, that baby was born. She took the umbilical cord off, got her placenta out, bagged the placenta up, and got a towel, wrapped the baby. It was probably like all the afterbirth stuff. She had so many options that she could have done in that very moment. Let's say she didn't know. Let's just give her the benefit of the doubt. She knew when she was giving birth, and she still decided to do that. So that means that poor little baby was in that black bag suffocating while he had a towel wrapped around him and a bag smothering him, which means that she gave birth to the baby, took the umbilical cord off, and must have held him at some point or had some interaction with that baby. Very disturbing. It is very disturbing. Yeah. All right, let's continue. I can't imagine either.
That's what's going to happen. So frankly, she's lucky that it didn't get worse. Also, in terms of options, yes, there are options, and not only adoption, but Todd, most states have safe haven laws where you can drop your child off in front of a fire station, in front of a police.
She didn't even give anyone the opportunity, guys. The family literally said they would have taken the baby. Nothing, no questions asked. Yeah, she knew to put the placenta in a Ziploc. She did all of that and then went to eat McDonald's, and her roommates had to find the baby. She had so many choices. She's thinking how to match the ankle monitor with her outfit. Oh, I love it. That's great. Let's go.
Police station with no questions asked. She wouldn't have had to identify herself. She wouldn't have had to get involved in any way. She just could have left a healthy, intact baby for someone loving to adopt or take care of.
It's such a tragedy all around. But in light of what you just said, that everybody who's in college at least should know that putting a baby in a bag is not going to end well. What's the defense in this case?
I think the defense is probably acting without.
Well, we already know the defense. She's absolutely going to use that. I was pregnant and my hormones, and I didn't know what I was doing, because she does say that she gave birth, and she was saying from the pain, she kept passing out. That's her story. I gave birth. While I was giving birth, I was in so much pain. I kept waking up, passing out, waking up, passing out. Finally, I gave birth, and the baby came all the way out. I woke up, passed out, rolled on the baby, and that's how the baby died. But come to find out, now that the medical examiners had his go at it, that's not what happened at all. All right. So, and I don't see any remorse from her.
Thought, right? I mean, I think it's going to be very difficult to say that it wasn't her. I mean, she's not going to be able to say someone else did it unless someone else did. But frankly, I think it's going to be distraught, not thinking well, some type of postpartum, maybe the fact that she didn't tell anyone about this and that she just didn't know what to do. It was a split-second decision. She didn't have the guilty mind. I mean, I think that's probably where they're going to go. I'm not so sure it's going to go very far. My guess is we will see.
I think she needs to take a plea deal because, Mom, you're right. So she was asleep when she wrapped the baby like a burrito and put him in a plastic bag and got the umbilical cord off, Mom, and put her placenta in an external plastic bag inside of the black bag and then just dipped out. Wow. She must be a sleepwalker. Have you guys seen those cases where people they kill their spouse and then they say, oh, I was sleepwalking or dreaming. I didn't know I did that. And you go back and you look at the cameras and you see the guy outside getting his stuff ready to, oh yeah, I was sleepwalking. Yeah, that's that. Then you dial 911, not get a sausage and egg cheese sandwich. Yeah, it's not going to go well for her if she goes through a trial, in my opinion.
Here.
Understood. Meantime, the Georgia teen charged with fatally running over a teacher and a prank gone horribly wrong is breaking his silence. 18-year-old Jaden Wallace saying, quote, I pledge to live out the remainder of my life in a manner that honors the memory.
Okay, so we're on to a different thing. I didn't know if you guys wanted me to cover that at all. Have you seen that? The prank gone wrong? Georgia, some teenagers did a prank to their teacher. They were toilet papering his house, and he came outside, and when they left, they hit him and killed him. So anyway, I didn't know if you guys had seen that yet, but that's where we are with this. So let's take that off. We need justice for baby boy Snelling. All right, that's what we're here for today. She's lucky the baby wasn't 10 pounds. Yeah, they didn't give us that. They did not give us the weight and how long and all that. It's not released. M to the J dog. I know. All right, guys. So justice for baby boy Snelling. Absolutely kudos to Isaiah, aka Zay Hall, for stepping up when he found out that she was pregnant and gave birth to a baby that ultimately she took the life of. Now, he hasn't talked to her since, according to the family statement, all right? So it literally says he hadn't spoken since February when she unexpectedly went no contact with him. And remember, she had a new boyfriend, so he didn't know she was pregnant, but they made, because it's a case, because it's they're gonna go on trial, they made him take a DNA test, and the DNA confirmed that he is the father. But he did the right thing, guys. He did the right thing, and he took the baby, and he gave the baby a proper funeral, and they buried the baby with their other family members, okay? So, yes, if you missed anything, we've already been here for 2 hours. I didn't even realize it's been that long. Thank you, Patricia. I appreciate you. Yeah, exactly. You know he's going to be there testifying if they have a trial. Do you know if the news BFF knew she was pregnant? Who? The news BFF? The new? Did you know if the new? No, we don't. We actually don't know that, but I have a feeling it's going to come out at trial. We're going to hear all of the people parading in, and they're going to have the parents, the prosecutor's going to say, didn't you see the extra weight? And, all that stuff. So Isaiah, if you're watching the show, we are sorry for your loss. Absolutely, Mom. And he's a stand-up guy, and that's a stand-up family right there. The new boyfriend, I don't know if the new boyfriend knew or not, guys. We'll hear about it when the trial comes. Not that I know of. Right? Babies are all water at first. It would depend on how long they found him. He could have lost 2 more pounds. All right, guys. Seems like Patricia knows this case very well. Now that's a man. You got that right. Cool and Chris. That's a man. All right. So kudos to this guy, Isaiah, and his family for stepping up. But we now need justice for baby boy Snelling, and with the arrest today and new indictment charge, we are one step closer. I did not mean to put that up there. All right, guys. Tomorrow is Friday, the 13th. We're going to do some kind of members only. I'm not sure if it's going to be members only chat or members only on the full show. So get yourself a membership and come back tomorrow, 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, California, 7 p.m. Eastern. In the meantime, I hope you guys have a wonderful evening and stay safe out there, because I know there's a lot of storms and people going without. How do you give birth in the future without thinking about this evil act? I agree. All right, guys, good night, and I will see you mañana or tomorrow. Love you guys. Take care. See you soon. Bye.
Guilty of crime.
I want to thank you for watching. If you enjoyed my content, please share this video, like, and subscribe. You can also follow me over at Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, X, or Gmail. If you'd like to donate to my channel, you can use Cash App or Venmo or PayPal. Thank you very much in advance. Guilty of crime.
Are you guilty?